So where are you from?
Originally, I was born in Berlin, but I'm from Barrie.
Okay. Did you go to high school locally?
No, I went to high school over at Lamoille Union.
Where?
Lamoille Union.
Lamoille Union.
Yep.
When did you graduate?
2009.
Okay. Oh, so not that long ago.
No.
How old are you?
Gonna be 34, 33 now. June 7th's my birthday.
Okay. Where have you lived over the last couple of years?
Last couple of years, I've lived in Barrie and Montpelier.
Okay. Do you have an apartment?
I do not.
Okay. So the last couple of years, you have been, what, staying with friends or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Surfing.
Yeah. So how was your childhood? How was mom and dad?
My dad was he was a bit of an abusive drunk.
Okay.
My mom, good person, but she was an addict. They fought a lot. They didn't stay together long, but was split custody between them.
Okay.
My dad, he lived till 2015, and he died from cancer.
2015.
Yeah.
Okay. What was that like for you when he passed away?
It was a little hard, but I'd say it wasn't as hard as losing my sister Amber and my sister Bethany.
Amber and Bethany, your two sisters.
My biologicals. I lost Amber in 2012, and I lost my sister Bethany in 2019.
From what now? How did they pass?
Overdoses.
Wow. On what drug, if you don't mind my asking?
Oh, Bethany, they said, was a goiter. I think it was more to it than that. My mom says it was just a goiter in her intestines. So, I mean, that's what the autopsy report really. But I think the other thing led to that for neglect to her body. Amber was a combination of two different substances and pills, and I do believe a bag as well.
Bag of heroin? Or?
Yeah.
Where did they pass away? Where did all that happen?
Bethany up in Highgate Apartments, and my sister Amber was right on Summer Street in an apartment, her dad's apartment. He lost his wife 8 days prior to the same apartment.
Okay. So what led you? I'm trying to get to the root of things here of what has led you circumstantially to where you are today and what's happening today. And I think some of this is circumstance, and some of this is just some bad decision making.
A lot of bad decision making.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and make excuses. I am going to say that the things that happened in my life changed me a lot mentally. And there's a lot of people that say, poor you, woe is you. Until you go through that, you don't know. There are a lot of people in this town that have lost a good amount of people, though. And I've gotten to know those select few, and they're holding on by a string. And that's the difference between me and them, is they're holding on by a string. I just lost so much in such a short time. I just lost myself.
Are you holding on by a string, or are you not?
I'd say barely. Honestly, there's a lot going on in this town, the hatred towards me, and I don't blame them. I don't. But at the same time, when I needed people, other than my family and like my cousin Ariana, her mom. And I love my mom, but honestly, my cousin Ariana and her mom really pulled together with my dad's funeral. And for it, when Amber's funeral, my sister Bethany, or Karen, I mean, helped meld everything together. And just, my nephews that are the children of my sisters that passed away are doing great. I got a nephew here in town that is over at Domino's. That's really, like, he's gone through the loss, and he's got a lot of hatred towards me right now. He used to look up to me. And then you got my other nephews that just, two of them that moved out of state because of everything, the drugs. And
Where are you living? Where'd you sleep last night?
I slept outside.
Where?
Just straight in the woods tent.
Okay. Are you with others?
No, just my girlfriend.
Okay. You look tired as hell, man.
I am. Just running back and forth. Just trying to get money for food or whatever. And dumb things. It's a bad choice. I had a good job roofing. And after the flood happened, I didn't think I was going to find work. I lost everything in the flood. That's when I really went downhill. I was working at J. Morgan's. I was a chef. I was doing great. And the flood happened. I was really starting to lose myself because work, honestly, is what made me get through it. And I got this job roofing, and I ended up going through a relationship problem, and that's when I just finally lost myself. I think that's really where I went right over the edge and just gave up.
Why do you think there are so many people that are surprised that you're on the air this morning on Aired Out?
Because of the hatred, honestly. There's a lot of hatred, and probably nobody would have thought that I would have came on here, but I wanted to say my story. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying what led me here.
You're right.
And, just not having the support that you need, like, not reaching out enough, I guess, because I've reached out a lot. Psychologists, counselors, and it wasn't working for me. Work was my counselor. And I guess you could call it my own form of self-medication at the time. There's a lot of Vermonters that do that. Believe it or not.
Do you ever say to yourself, I'm not sorry, I don't care what others are saying to you, but do you ever say to yourself, I'm 34 years old. I've got so many years ahead of me. I've got my whole life ahead of me. It's not too late. I can turn this ship around. Do you ever say that to yourself?
Absolutely.
How often?
Lately, the past couple weeks, I've really been thinking, that's why I got my ID. I got the stuff I need. And I'm going to be getting work. It's a slow process because there's a lot of places that don't want to hire me. But there are a couple of places that are somewhat willing. All I need is one person willing to hire me. I would bust my ass. I wouldn't miss work. I'd leave the old life behind me. But for work, for most people, it's just for a paycheck. For me, it's not just a paycheck. It helps me get through. Helps me feel like I'm part of something. I don't have much family left in my life. I don't have any friends, really. You know, like, to live a lonely life like that, it's a bad choices, yes. But there's also a lot of people that just, in my life naturally, that just weren't there. You know, like, I got a Carbo side of the family that has nothing to do with me and haven't since the funeral. And then my mom's side of the family, they all keep to themselves, really, other than the select few. But yes, I do tell myself that all the time. Something's going to change, it's going to give. And my girlfriend, like, mentally, she can't handle any more of this life, so I know something's going to change.
You know, listen, I'll be straight with you. And like you said, you already know this. You're not well liked in this community for a lot of reasons. I mean, I see stuff about you all the time on social media. Somebody's been carboed. What is that? What's that all about?
That's because of panhandling. Somebody came up with the idea to come up with the shirt.
A shirt?
Yeah, and I've been carboed. It's because of the things I'll say to get the money and borrow, get money. Sometimes I lie. But there's times where I actually say true things that have happened in my life to get the money, which is still wrong. I'm just trying to survive and hold on. Like today, we're gonna go out and try to figure out food and just the basic things that everybody don't think about.
Are you an aggressive handler? Or are you someone who weasels your way around?
I'd say a combination. Some of the cops say that I'm aggressive. Aggressive to me is somebody that's like swears and gets angry when they're told no. I don't. I'm polite about it. So I wouldn't really call myself aggressive. I'll say consistent. And I wouldn't really say a weasel around. Well, some would say I'd weasel around.
What do you say? What do you say?
I say that I just get around and try to be polite, and I'm just moving constantly. I'm somebody that moves constantly.
But only mostly around Berry City.
Yeah. I'm not allowed on the bus right now. I handed another homeless person a cigarette. Guy was all messed up. I can't let it live on my conscience giving somebody drugs. Believe it or not. If I medicate myself, that's one thing. But especially when it comes to dope and all that, this guy wanted dope, and I weren't going to give it to him. So I just gave him a cigarette. And they assumed that I gave him drugs. And that freaking got me kicked off. And then to top it off, I got in an altercation with a bus driver for calling my woman a see you next Tuesday. And I ended up losing it. And a little bit. And I just lost my chances of getting on the bus.
Was it drugs that you were giving him, or really was it a cigarette?
Cigarette. That's being real with you, 100%.
Well, listen, man. I expect you to be real with me, and when you came through the door, that's kind of what I said to you too. You're on the camera. You're on the record. And that's a big deal for me. I don't take this kind of stuff lightly. I asked you to come in here. I met with you, and it's a big deal for me. So
Big deal for me too. I just want people to like know that in this town that I'm sorry for the things I've done. Like I do owe the town at least that. And I'm wanting to apologize on air too as well. That I know I made poor choices in this town. I know I terrorized communities. And publicly, I'm sorry for that. But I want to say that if there's one out there listening that's willing to give me a job, I'll be here on Main Street, walking back and forth, not panhandling, literally. No, I'm going on Barry Montpelier Road as well, looking for work. I just want work so I can rebuild in this community, rebuild myself, my name.
what if this community were to say to you, which I've heard a lot of, don't bother because you're not welcome here in this community? There are plenty that are saying that. Are you willing to move? Are you willing to even possibly leave Vermont? I mean, we have a local business owner who's offered to get you to pay for a one-way ticket for you. Tell me about that.
Cornerstone? Yeah, I've talked to him.
That's a true story?
Here's the thing, what they don't know. There's certain legal things that are keeping me in state, but also my mom. Like don't get me wrong. I know there's people out there that want to hurt me in bad ways. And regardless, I'm not going to ditch my mom. And I know I can rebuild and change my life. I mean, there's a judge that committed manslaughter that changed his life, changed his name, and became a judge. I do believe drug charges. So either way, it was a felony charge, and this man ended up turning his life around and becoming a judge, There's people that committed murder in this town alone that are now working for, rehabilitation place, Turning Point. I was in jail for 30 years, got out. Now he works for Turning Point. He was a bad addict that his addiction led to somebody being murdered. I know I could make a turnaround. Am I going to say it's going to be easy getting the town to like me? No. But at the end of the day, half of the town doesn't even know each other personally. I mean, yeah, Vermonters, we adjust. I'm just going to have to see through my actions instead of just words.
Well, that's, that's one of the things I was just going to ask you. Does true remorse begin with real change?
Yes.
And that's a comment from Michelle this morning. Yeah.
Michelle.
True remorse starts with real change. You believe that?
Yeah.
It's kind of what you're alluding.
Change, yeah. I need to change. I've been alluding it a lot. I'm wondering if that that person that just asked that is my ex.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm sorry. I have an ex named Michelle that I guess was going to be listening to this. She's one of the people affected by my life choices.
I know this lady. That's not your ex.
My apologies.
Yeah.
No, it does. It does.
Here's my question for you, okay? I'm just going to be honest. You said earlier that you're just trying to survive. You are accused of aggressive panhandling, frequent aggressive panhandling. If you're just trying to survive, then why why would you take any of the money that you get from panhandling and buy cigarettes with it? Now, maybe I'm out of touch for asking that question. I don't smoke. I don't know what it's like to be addicted to cigarettes or anything. But why spend that money on a pack of cigarettes, which is running $13 right now, man? If you're trying to survive.
There's some things that I'm not willing to give up. Cigarettes are definitely one of them, but I do get your point. I don't know any other true smokers, but vaping just is not the same. But bottom line, there's other things that I should spend money on.
What about, tell us your version of what happened with Officer McGowan.
To be honest, a lot of people liked McGowan. I'm not saying he was a terrible cop. Personally, myself, I'll be respectful of cops, but personally, myself, other than my cousin Trevor, who was a state trooper, I don't really... The life I've lived, I don't talk to cops. I'm just going to be real with you right now. I don't really associate, I'll be polite as I can just because I'm not trying to have problems. But personally, I don't like them. But as far as McGowan goes, as an individual, he wasn't a bad person. He helped a lot of kids. He cared about people in this community. But this town and the drugs changed him in a way and affected him. And he got sick of me panhandling. I think just what happened was I ran that day, tried eluding him, went behind a house, and I got caught in some vines and bushes, and he dove. He's a big guy. He is a big guy, and he's a Marine. And when I was in the struggle, I ended up getting handcuffed. And at that point, with him on top of me, I was starting to have a seizure. And I was in the camera, everybody's could see, I said, I can't breathe. And I really couldn't. I have a fear of suffocation. I was drowned purposely as a kid by somebody. They tried to hold me underwater, so I hate not being able to breathe. But then, I think I drooled on him during the seizure. He put it in the report that I spit on him, and I ended up getting hit in the head. I didn't realize what he had hit me with, but either way, I got hit in the head.
Were you in somebody's house before that incident?
Yeah, and it wasn't due to breaking and entering. I'm fighting that now. I was let in by a friend of mine. I knew all the people at that house. It wasn't just a random thing. I didn't just kick in a door. That charge is false.
Nick, I am giving this guy my platform so that there is some transparency, at least from his side of the story, of telling about his life and what has led him up to the shitty decisions that he continues to make. Listen, man, I'll tell you straight up, there are people that are listening who are encouraging you to get on a better road, to take advantage of the endless resources that are in our community right here in Barrie City alone. There's also people that just don't believe anything that you're saying.
That's a given.
They don't trust you.
Don't blame them.
They never will. And that your rap sheet is a mile long. I'm not familiar with all the details of your rap sheet other than aggressive panhandling. What do you look at as aggressive panhandling? How do you define that? And I should say to Nick here also that my intentions, and I'll tell you this as well, Brandon, my intentions are to follow your story a little bit more and to have you back. Either I come to you, you come to me. But, man, I'll tell you, I'm going to hold you accountable for everything that is coming out of your mouth this morning. And our listeners are too. You're brave enough to come in here and sit in front of a microphone and say what you got to say. But, man, it's like after saying what you're saying, when people see you on the sidewalk, they're going to know your story, and they're going to know what you've said into these microphones. And you're going to hold yourself accountable. You're almost forced to.
No, that's why I did it.
Is that fair?
It's be unfair. That's why I did it. Yeah, I'll put a stop to the panhandling.
Put a stop to your panhandling?
Yeah, there's no, now that I'm saying, admitting to the things I've done and the lies. And
Have you ever tried to get in a running car with a woman and a child sitting in it?
I might have. There's been times where I just was like on a robo trip, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Trying to chase something.
Have you been high on drugs during something like that?
Possibly.
I mean, I'll be the first person to tell you. You know, if I was in Barrie or anywhere, and someone tried to get into my car.
Oh, get in the car?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. If someone ever tried to get into my car especially with my kid in there, wouldn't go well.
Yeah, no. I never tried getting into a car. See,
there would be a mess.
I think during the fear, there's some people that scared of me because of the panhandling. They, during fear, assumed that that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
I've never tried getting into a car. See, no wonder why. There's some people that have called me a scumbag and said that I did that. And even in a police report, tried breaking into a vehicle. I don't remember any time of trying to break into a vehicle. Especially with a lady and a child. Like, I don't understand that.
I have a neighbor that has you on video trying to get into one of his outbuildings.
His what?
One of his outbuildings. Garages, barns, just...
You sure it's me?
Sure.
What street?
Rather not say, but it was a very cold night, and you were just wearing a sweatshirt. So,
You talking about in Washington? No, I was knocking on the garage door numerous times, waiting. I wasn't trying to get in.
so you've gone to people's homes and knocked on
Just
their doors?
trying to get help to get back to town. I was freezing. I was ditched. Everybody thought I was up there just trying to panhandle, and there are people that I have asked for money, and I actually used that money to get a ride back.
Okay.
I mean, that's a freaking long walk. Not to mention, there's some parts of Vermont that you can get lost in. That's one of those places. I didn't know it very well.
Yeah. This is a this is a an ugly road that you're on, buddy. I don't. Do you realize? Do you realize
That it could get me shot?
Yeah.
Do you realize that it could get me killed? Yeah, absolutely. I do know that. That's why I'm doing this.
There's nothing good about any of this. And I mean, you know, I'm getting comments here that you're a pathological liar. Do you know what pathological means?
Honestly, like, being called a pathological liar, I guess I could agree with some of it, because I knew that what I was saying sometimes wasn't true.
Well,
I'm not going to disagree with them.
Pathological is when you actually believe your own lies.
There has been things I've said that I have done that with, yes. It's just that you got to get in that mode when you are panhandling. There's people that hold signs over by the stores. That's the only difference between them and me, is the sign. But it's still a lie. And when you're homeless and panhandling, it's almost like you got to believe your own lie in order to get the story to stick. And it's stupid. It's pathetic. I know it is. I'm ashamed of myself, honestly, because I was a straight-A student. Went to college online, but I was a straight-A student, high honors.
In high school?
Yeah, you could see me on the honor roll in 2008, 2009.
At Lamoille?
Yeah.
2000 what?
8 and 2009.
Yeah. That's just a friend of mine. You don't have anything to worry about.
I usually come on every Friday, man.
No, don't worry.
How you doing? I'm Rex.
Brandon.
Nice to meet you. The microphone? You mind if I sit with you?
Sure.
I don't bite.
Grab that one.
This one work?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, JD. I have to go meet with a customer today.
I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to any of this, Rex, but I mean, you know, the comments that are coming in this morning. I mean, there's either
You're not gonna hurt me, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Promise. All right.
You own the MMA gym up in Graniteville.
I do not own the MMA gym. I'm one of the instructors, though. 100%. Lucas John owns the MMA gym up there. I just teach I teach a couple of the classes.
just bring that up just a pinch.
All right. I don't want to break it. Is that better?
I just you know, there are so many opportunities these days that present themselves here in this state. Services, resources
Have you ever tried any of them resources?
to better your life, to do something productive with your life.
I have tried some of the resources, Folk Rehab, which is now another program.
Have you ever gone to therapy? Have you ever talked to somebody?
Yeah, I have. The counselor, I lost touch with after my sister died, Bethany. I completely lost it, to be honest, mentally. So I just stopped coming to see my counselor.
Honestly, I mean, JD when I lost my mom, and same with him when he lost his parents. That's a pretty traumatic thing in your life. And maybe it's hard to get all the other resources if you don't address the underlying issue.
Yeah.
You know,
there are so many opportunities to work, to have a respectful job, not just here in Barrie, but I mean, you know. We're getting a question here. Have you admitted yourself to Valley Vista? Have you ever explored Valley Vista?
I've explored Valley Vista. There's a person in my life here in town that would be left out there alone.
Yeah, but if you die of a
But-
drug overdose, they're going to be left out here alone. If you walking around on the
Yeah.
street and somebody finally loses their shit or something like that and hurts you and puts you in the hospital, they're going to lose you. So think about it this way, my man. If you are on a plane and you lose cabin pressure, what's the first thing they tell you?
And they put on the mask.
Right, before you put on a mask on your kids, because if you don't put that on and you lose consciousness, you can't help anybody else. You have to help yourself first before you help anyone else. You can't be responsible for yourself. How are you supposed to be responsible for somebody else? Don't put that weight on your shoulders. You need to take care of yourself first. That's 100% what you have to do. We all have underlying issues, and it's whether or not we're willing to have that hard conversation with ourselves on.
He's spot on, man. I mean, it's like,
Bro,
I don't care. I don't care who we
100%.
are.
I was in a motorcycle gang. I did drugs. I beat people up. I was a fucking shitbag. I'm 52 years old. So just know, life is not this. This is just a fucking little spot, and you're dealing with your trauma through drugs.
What kind of drugs are you doing, Brandon?
Crack and heroin.
Crack and heroin.
So the way that works, man, and this is how a lot of my friends, I don't know how it worked with you, but when they would start smoking crack and you're wound out, you're chasing that dragon, you're looking for that bell ringer, that first hit is what gets you, right? So now you've been up for days and now you can't sleep, but you got to go to work. Well, then your buddy comes along, he's like, hey, just snort this, you can go to sleep. Well, wow, now all of a sudden you could do your upper all weekend long, snort some fucking heroin or some opioids so you can sleep. And then now you've gotten a little rest. Now you're refreshed. Now it's time to smoke crack. Am I wrong? Is that pretty much how the
It's
cycle
up
works?
and down thing, yeah.
Yeah, you're wound out. You're geeked out. You hate yourself and you just want to sleep and you can't because you're thinking about everything. Your brain is going. That's your addictive personality. Now all of your trauma. Now you think about all your fucking trauma going on. And the easiest thing to do is a nice opioid, a nice heroin, something to...
Just got a comment here. This could have been a private conversation if you really wanted to help, not for likes online. What the fuck?
Sorry they feel that way.
Wow.
Have you ever talked to anybody like this? Does this bother you that we're talking?
I've
this
never
out in
done
the
it.
open?
I've never done it out in the open, no.
Jesus.
Does it feel better to get it out?
I don't even know if Heather has ever once listened to this podcast or anything that it's about. My objective here, buddy, is not for fucking likes.
No, I know.
My objective here is to have you share your story for what it is, for what it's worth. Because frankly, the road that you're on right now, I wouldn't be in the least bit surprised if in the near future you weren't here anymore. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But we got you captured here on this program telling your story for what it is and for what it's worth, in the hope, with the objective, that maybe it will
You've
help.
already talked to a counselor privately about
Maybe
this.
it will help somebody
Yeah.
not go down the road that you're
Absolutely.
going 100 miles an hour on.
And you've done construction before. Because you worked for my buddy Timmy.
Yep.
You did some work for Timmy before, so we know you can do it. But how do you deal?
No, Heather, I'm not exploiting. Why do we have to deal with people that are accusing
Because you
me
get
of
a million views,
fucking
there's always going to be a
exploiting?
weirdo. There's
Not-
always going to be.
What's that?
Because you get a million views, there's got to be at least one weirdo out of all of it.
Not exploiting anyone.
No, not at all. I don't know. I just got here, but
Brandon, do you feel that I'm exploiting you?
No. Just giving me a chance to talk.
I think everybody should be able to talk, tell their. Well, wait a minute. What about all the people exploiting him online? I've been carboed. You know what I mean? They talk about this kid all the time online, but now that you're talking to him personally, it's an issue.
Right.
Like, This is called, did they forget what it's called? This is called aired out, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's called. You're airing it out. And you know what? Ignore them people for right now. This isn't about those people right now. This is about him. Let's get to this. So I want to ask you some questions. As a self-defense instructor, I teach self-defense. What do you personally look for when you're going to approach somebody and ask for money? What characteristics, or what do you look for? Do you look for a weaker person? Would you come up to me and ask me for money? Would you aggressively ask me for money? I mean, I don't care if you did, but I've lived in cities around the world, and panhandlers on every single corner are relentless on chasing you down the street, trying to get cigarettes, money, whatever. So whatever your hustle is.
It doesn't matter really the person. I just, I'm not going to walk up to somebody that, is homeless or.
Right.
Jars,
Okay. Fair.
But for the most
now,
part,
if you walk up to them and they say, "Get the fuck away from me,"
I do.
Okay. Because the way that it sounds online
is that I can follow
is that
people.
you were like following people down and robbing them at gunpoint, using knives and.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I've never used or touched really any gun, no knife. I can barely afford at this point the clothes on my back, let alone a weapon.
Why are you here in Vermont then? Vermont's a hard place to live when you have a job.
I'm from here.
Fair.
My family's here.
Fair.
My mom needs me to change myself, but to just
How
be
is your
there.
mom dealing with the death of your sisters? How is your mom
She
dealing?
moved over to a country town and it's 3 years sober.
Can you imagine how your mom feels seeing you?
She's very sad.
100%, my man. I'm a parent.
So am I.
My mom died. I watched my mom overdose 3 times. My best friend died from this shit. You guys have no clue what you leave as a path behind you. It's not something you think about.
Yeah. You've got. I mean, you're only 34, dude.
Holy fuck, dude.
The opportunity, the time. I'll tell you right now. Look at me. There is no greater gift on God's green earth than time.
Absolutely.
It's one thing you can't buy.
Don't ever forget that.
I will not.
You have time, which is the future, to turn this shit around. That's your gift. And you can do anything you want with that time. You can make it worse.
Or better.
Or better.
I want to make it better. But anyways, I know that, I don't know what timing-wise you guys have for the show, but I want to leave some questions unanswered for the next time that I come in.
The next time.
Fair.
So hopefully we can do a prequel to this. Or I think
Sequel.
It's a sequel. Sequel, not
This
prequel.
is the prequel.
Yeah.
Prequel. No, I meant sequel. But anyways,
Is there what do we have? I mean, honestly, man, you need to address your trauma. You need to address that. That's the root issue of what's going on.
Well, I'm just gonna keep coming in periodically to just to see me change, improve change. I'm gonna be
I
checking
hope that
in
for you. I hope that, man.
I'm
I
gonna be
really do. I hope
checking
that for
in.
your mother.
for transformation. You guys are gonna see me do better little by little, and I'm gonna check in regularly with On the Air if I'm allowed, and that way people can see for themselves.
Do you take advantage of any of the resources the
I am right now.
from Capstone or the area churches or
I am right now at McFarland, Capstone as well.
Good.
And I'm working with them both. I just started. I've filled out some
What
paperwork.
about Paul Brody?
Yeah.
Your boy Brody that comes on here too.
Amber's asking, are you willing to head to rehab today?
I'm doing Turning Point
Turning Point?
and Treatment Associates. That's why I got my ID as well. So
It's hard. You don't go just right into rehab. I tried this with Edgar. It was so hard. People think like you just ask for it and you get it. They straight told him that he needed to get opioids off the street until they could get him in, and probably be 6 months. Had to go through counseling. In the meantime, they were like, "What?" He goes, "What am I gonna do?"
I'm doing a 14-month program called Treatment Court.
Oh, the treatment court. Yeah.
Yeah. So
What are you doing for like? Are you staying at the shelter? Where do you stay? Just wherever.
Wherever.
Fair.
But anyways, if you're okay with it, I actually got an appointment, very urgent appointment that I got to address. There's some legal things going on in my life, so I do have to unfortunately cut it short. I just wanted to be able to tell my story this time around, and I will be back for people to listen.
Thanks for coming in here and doing that.
Not a problem. Thank you both.
Not everybody hates you, man.
I know. But a lot of people were let down by me, and I get that.
You're the only one that can change it, though, man.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I know people don't believe, there's non-believers there, but I want you.
Yeah, I'm not sure what some of these comments are.
Well, it's hard to be angry at a human being when you see the personal side of him, isn't it?
Well, I just got a comment here that I'm seeing here. And I was just going to pull the plug on this, but I'm like, you know what?
Huh?
I don't think so. Why, Chris Emerson, why delete my comments? It's all facts. I haven't deleted any comments.
Are we online?
We're live.
We're live. Oh. I came in a little late on that, JD. But
I wasn't expecting you to come on the mic.
Right?
But yeah. You know, the last thing I'm doing, Rex, my motivation behind.
You know what it really bothers people is seeing the
behind
personal side. It's so easy to be angry at somebody you don't know. It's really hard to stay angry once you hear the personal side of it. He admits to it. He knows what he's doing. He knows, but people don't want to hear that personal side.
So we got Alyssa. Can I ask what the purpose of having him on was? And she says, exactly, I missed a lot of this. Please go back and rewatch this.
Yeah. Absolutely watch it.
Alyssa, the purpose of having...
Let's put rumors and myths to everything has been blown out of proportion online.
Listen, the purpose of having him on is
so he could tell his personal story.
It's to tell his story, and I understand, Judy and others, that that there's some lying that's going on here. I mean,
nobody's justifying what he did to include him.
I'm not justifying anything, and I'm also not exploiting him, but I will have someone on if they are willing to come on and share their story.
Wait a minute. But wait a minute.
My God. I mean,
this is a problem in the community. You just became proactive to talk to the person who's creating the problem in the community.
Right.
How is that a bad thing? Nobody is doing that. Instead, they're online. They're going to sell T-shirts that says "I've been carboed." They're not. They're going to. Oh, watch out! The guy's here. What? You took an approach, like a human approach, to address the guy. I don't see what the problem is with that.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just too woke. You're too woke. Here's the awakening, motherfuckers.
I'm hoping that the people that are watching and listening, that they at least get a chance to hear his story, whether they believe it or not. At least give him an opportunity to listen. I've reached out to Officer McGowan.
Mm-hmm.
He's not able to come on the air.
That's their thing.
That's their thing.
It is what it is. But you also heard him. He's never put his hands on somebody. He's never been violent. So literally, if he walks up to you and asks for money, say, "Get away from me. Leave me alone."
So Alyssa's saying he needs help.
Yeah.
Wish you could have helped him.
We're trying.
That's what we're doing.
We're trying. We're trying to point him to resources.
That's what we're doing.
Stay active with him and make sure that he's sticking with this plan. He just told us he went under the 14-month treatment plan.
Yeah.
He's trying to do something right now. But if he doesn't deal with the trauma of losing his sisters, his mother.
Right. He's in treatment court, and he's also...
How does other people deal with trauma? This type of trauma, like, I feel like people that judge other people have never dealt with a serious trauma in their life, never seen someone die, never lost someone really close to them, never was abused, never was molested.
Yeah.
So all of those things manifest in different ways for everybody,
right.
Whether they become. So the biggest thing that everybody does is, well, drinking's legal. Well, you're still coping with your problems with a drug.
Yeah.
Whether it's a legal drug or illegal drug, you're doing the exact same thing.
You're right.
You're using drugs as a coping skill. And that's really what they need to do, is they need to learn. I had to go to counseling, man. I was off the fucking rails when my mother died. I had to talk to somebody. But, someone is that kid like that, you can throw him on the street and have nobody like you to actually even acknowledge that he's a human being. And then what?
Yeah.
You're going to find him dead in a street, but maybe by bringing him onto here,
yeah,
maybe that alone he'll see that not all humans. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just.
Listen, I mean,
I never met. Okay, so I never met the guy, and all I heard were the stories. I thought that this guy was like grabbing little old ladies, throwing them to the ground, and stealing their wallets and shit.
I've heard plenty of stories that are pretty outrageous like that about Brandon Carbo.
He's like 100 pounds, dude. He was sitting here next to me. You could literally break him in two with one hand. I don't know why.
What's
We have female fighters.
Maybe that stuff is happening. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I mean, stories are that. They're
okay.
Stories.
So the
Some
law
of them are
enforcement
true.
can't do any, law enforcement can't do anything because he's nonviolent. He's nonviolent. So the law enforcement can't do anything. So how does the community do something? Do we just bitch about it, or do we become proactive and try to do something, try to help our community?
That's what I was trying to do this morning.
I thought that was fantastic.
What's that?
I thought it was fantastic you had him on. I didn't know you had him on. I haven't paid attention to things all week, and then you sent me a message earlier. And so I tuned in. I was walking. I'm usually walking this time, so it's hard for me to watch. But so I had just hold my phone with the YouTube open so I could listen to it. I thought it was good. I mean, it's a little confrontational, but that's the way it's going to be. It has to be.
Right.
You know, but the fact that he came in here on his own, it's not like you guys are exploiting him or taking advantage of him. You made the invitation. He came in. You aired it out. He got the opportunity to talk, like Rex has been saying. Everyone's going on these stories and these rumors. I haven't seen this guy ever before in my life. I just watched him walk away. Looks depressed.
Yeah.
Sounds depressed. I'll listen to him. And obviously, he's got some things that would be depressing. But, so you hear all the stories and stuff. But then, come in here and tell your side of it.
What's that old saying, man? Walk a mile in my shoes.
Yeah, right.
Walk in that kid's shoes.
Well, and listen.
And once again, I'm not justifying a fucking thing that this guy did.
No, of course
man.
not. It's his actions.
People need to see the human side of it.
Yeah, I think
Just
that's what
see
it is.
the
Like, yeah,
human
what
side.
you said. If it's easy to hate somebody if you don't know them. And so
Imagine
that's
if the
what TV
community
does.
came together and like, hey, we see you, man.
Yeah.
Well, look how many people have seen him now.
Yep.
This morning.
Right. And this could make a huge difference. Now, I saw someone coming out of the door. They're probably listening to. I assume they were listening because it looked like they came out and they looked directly down this way and then looked down that way and then said something to each other. I think they noted they were watching to see him come out of the studio.
Yeah.
That's what I just witnessed.
The messages you got earlier, people were telling you that the guy was going to stab you, he was going to kill you, he was going to be violent, it was going to be, and then we come in and here's this passive, depressed, trauma-filled fucking kid. Huh.
Yep. Well, the myth is bigger than the man kind of thing. Like that's what everybody
100%.
worked it up into this big deal. But
Dude, there's like the rumors about me, like how I satisfy 10 women at a time. 100% they're not true. Well, maybe
you couldn't do that.
You know, comment here. Brandon is about power and control.
But based on what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, that's the thing. It's so easy to do this, to armchair psychoanalyze anybody. I mean, this is my job, and I don't even do that. I don't know this kid. How can I say anything about him? Until you, keeps kid. He's 34. He's only 10 years younger than me. But once you get to a certain age, I guess
25
everybody's a
years
kid,
younger
right?
than me.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It's kind of. I feel like it's disrespectful.
And the sad
for me to
thing
say that.
is, you know, I've had so many friends. I've had, like I said, my mom died, my best friend. And a lot of them people, if you reach out to them, that's just to know that somebody, I don't know, that it means a lot to them. And
Right.
But that might be the thing. If you kick a dog and you just continually kick them, or you give them a treat, how are they?
Right.
You know, how are they going to react?
Yeah.
If the community, what's the point? If the whole community projects or the whole community hates him, what's the point? You might as well just stay high.
Yeah, exactly.
and
Well,
continue down doing
there's
what
so
they-
many comments here. I mean, I can't keep up with them, but the last sentence is, you know, people are concerned for their safety, and rightfully so.
Sure.
I mean, I don't think he's stabbed or shot anyone, but I mean
But how desperate does he have to become before something?
Well, how desperate
happens?
do I have to become? Or
Absolutely.
You? Or JD? We can
Right.
all. Everyone has the
100%.
potential to do this. This is back when
Right.
I was in college and I was
Right.
learning about.
So what do you do?
psychology,
Arrest him
philosophy.
for preventive maintenance?
Yeah, right. That's the Minority Report. I don't want to live in that world. But you know, what's the difference between me and Hitler?
yeah.
Opportunity, you know, reach, audience. You know,
I would
it's
much rather
intention.
just sit back behind a computer and judge people,
Yeah.
not know them. That's so.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier.
Right. It's a lot easier. Yeah.
That's like the whole thing about the good decisions and bad decisions. Every single day we're forced with choices in our life. The good decisions are usually the hard ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
The bad decisions are super easy to make.
Well, and the good ones that are difficult to make and difficult to follow through with become the best teachers in your life. They're the ones that help you to overcome the challenges. I like the analogy of we're being refined. Our soul, or your person, whatever language you like to use for identifying yourself, you're being refined. What happens to metal when you refine it? You put it into super hot heat and it melts. What happens to you? Do woodwork stuff? Like what? You're refining a piece of wood. What do you do to it? You sand it?
So yeah, you send it through the planer.
Yeah. Put yourself through a planer. Put
Right.
yourself through
Yeah.
sandpaper. That's painful.
Listen,
the refining process hurts.
I don't
How
think.
about if we just start relating to each other? That's the thing.
Yeah.
So here's 2025. We all just want to be right.
Yeah.
How about how do we find things we can relate to each other?
Yeah,
with?
absolutely.
That'd be a lot easier. That would
Yep.
be like make for a better community.
Yeah.
Like, hey man,
Yeah, meet
I
each
don't
other
have
where
any
they are.
money, and I'm not going to give you any money because I know you're going to do drugs. Get help. Say that to him.
Yeah. Or just hi. I hope you have a better day. Hope you have a good day. Hope you have whatever
Costs
day.
nothing
Yeah.
to be
Absolutely
kind.
nothing. Yeah.
Zero.
Yep.
And it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? How those people that are so angry about you exploiting or whatever it is, they're just angry.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? Angry. You're angry. It takes so much energy to be
I'm
angry.
not. I'm not in any way, shape, or form suggesting the reasoning behind me having him on the air is to demonstrate that he's a good dude.
No.
No.
He admitted he knows he's not a good dude.
He's-
That'd be like me saying
yeah.
I'm a good dude.
And-
I know I've done
and-
shitty things.
Well, just give them
You know,
opportunity.
I mean, he even admitted that he's a pathological liar. I mean,
But so once again, that's going to go back. He's not addressing the underlying issues of his trauma. First thing, so kids, that's the first thing that they do is become liars. Why do they become a liar? Because they're so afraid of disappointing that parent that beats the fuck out of them.
yeah, to protect themselves.
Yep. It's a protection mechanism.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start lying. That's my go-to is to lie.
Yeah. You know, I just no boy.
All right, I gotta go. You
Yeah.
can take my seat. I gotta
Yeah.
go. But go on YouTube after school. The channel after school after an SKOOL after
Yeah.
school. And they
Yeah,
got a video just came out a couple days ago about mastering your emotions. Fantastic. You should watch it.
All right, I will.
Good seeing you, man.
Bro, you got to come on. You got to sit down. Please.
What's
Just
going
do
on,
it. Just do it. Man, I seriously could not have
Imagine this Friday.
imagined this Friday morning going the way it's going, but just pull that mic right up close to you, Jerry, right there. Yeah, so we can hear you. This is a guy that I have wanted to have on the air for a long, long time. Just bring it around if you can so that, yes. Jerry Portress has
Kind of intimidating.
just stumbled into the studio, man.
I feel like I'm in a prison movie.
Dude.
Get this thing out of my face.
Listen, did you get a chance to hear or see any of this?
And he did not go out to get high. He actually went down to the Good Shepherd. Carbo.
All
Chris
right.
left.
You just saw him.
You're still on the topic, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my nephew called me and said that they were that he was on, and I was actually quite surprised, quite excited,
everybody
and
was
glad.
surprised.
I'm really glad, and I was trying to get down here before he left, but then I saw him going between the Wellness Center and Good Shepherd, so at least he's going to a place that maybe he did have an appointment. Maybe he is looking for help. Because all I was going to do was tell him that, A, don't gamble your life away. He needs to get a job. Go there. Or you're going to keep getting newspaper articles about you, okay? And the best place to go to get you hooked up with everywhere is here. So, Washington County Mental Health Services.
Thank
isn't
you.
it? Or is this my Playboy hat?
That's not the Playboy
Okay.
hat. It's the pen.
That would have been
It's the
something.
penthouse
It's
hat.
definitely something that he needs to. He definitely needs to sit down and talk to somebody. He needs to work through those. He could go get a job today. He could go get rehab. He could go get all of that stuff, and all of it's going to fail if he does not fix the foundational problems.
Absolutely.
You can fix the roof on your house. You can fix the siding on your house, but if you don't ever fix that foundation, it's still going to fall down.
And there's help out there everywhere. You know, you just need, and that just doesn't go for Carbo. It goes for everybody that's out there on the street struggling with drugs or homeless or
It's
whatnot.
so hard, though.
there's
It
never-
really is, because we've got the whole criminality thing with drugs, and so instead of a public health crisis, it's a criminal crisis. We have 22 million people in prison because of nonviolent drugs right now. The next closest country is Russia with 650,000. The next one behind that is India with 300,000. They have billions of people. And I'm not talking about, so everybody, they said, well, you can't, if people don't want help, they won't get it. Well, most people want help. The problem is the help that is offered is through, the criminal. Here we go. We're going to send you to a 14-day. We're going to send you to a 30-day rehab. And then they have a 90% rate of reoffending. So we know that in other countries, number one, it shouldn't be a 14-day. It should be like a minimum 120-day with a follow-up for the next 2 years after you're out in order to help you. That's the only way that you're going to.
And then once you get out, you have to have a soft handoff to the programs that are going to help you when you get on the street. And right now, they're just, it's like Valley Vista. God bless them, but they're busy and they have to shorten their stays because there's just so many people that need to get in there, and they're trying to help more people. But that's it.
Get rid of the DEA, get rid of our private prisons, open up rehabs, because healthy people. So that's the other thing. They said, well, just have tougher laws. Okay, great. You could put a death penalty on drugs. Drug addicts and drug dealers are still going to sell drugs. They're still going to do it. They're still going to take that chance. But what you're going to do is you're going to make it even more violent because the money's going to be even higher because of the risk. You can take a drug dealer out. You can put him in jail. There'll be 10 more that are going to take his place, especially when there's that kind
and
of
that happens.
involved.
They have the revolving door down here in South Main Street.
So what do you do? What stops a drug dealer? When there's no more demand. If you don't have the demand.
Here,
Which in an ideal world that would be.
They do it in other countries.
Comment here. He's been offered real help over the years by us that have known him for years. He refuses any kind of real help.
What is real help to you and what is real help to him? I don't know who this person is. So what real help have you offered? A ride to a counselor to pay for a counselor so he could deal with his trauma. What is real help? I think that's the thing is we all have our own perception of what real help is, what really could help somebody.
Well,
There's
because
no
of all the
magic
problems
pill.
around lately, there's more programs to help people now than ever before in this area. Whenever he asks me for money, my initial reaction is I don't carry cash, and then I offered it to give him help, and he just walks away. So you have to want help before you can actually get help. And I don't know. What little I saw on my way in here, not watching it while I was driving, that's for sure.
Well, you can listen while you drive.
He looked presentable, and he spoke pretty decently. I mean, and when he approaches you for money, he also does that, which is the con artistry part of his personality.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
That's his hustle.
And it is. And you know what? 20 some odd years ago, I would have applauded that because of the lifestyle I lived. There is a way to get out of it, and you have to want it yourself. I would have never got clean. I would have never got sober. I would have never got a regular job. I would have never done any of that stuff unless I wanted to. So the bottom line is, if he doesn't want to, the only alternative is to put up with him and then wait for him to do something that he goes to jail for. And that's sad, and that shouldn't be happening. Right. There should
and that's
be
the way our
intervening
system
before
is
that.
right now. We only have that. Like I said, all these resources are still limited resources.
Exactly.
They are not a cure. To me, they're a money grab. Get you in, I don't know, because they're not trying to really cure the problem, because we know in other countries they have cured the problem.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
Double-edged sword.
Bringing up methadone is a really hot topic around this area. I mean, there's over 500 people at the hub in Berlin that go to get their methadone, and it's a business, and I get that, but there's not enough counselors to support the amount of people that are getting their dosing up there.
We didn't have a DEA, and we didn't have them private prisons with 22 million people. We'd have plenty of money to have counselors.
Yeah.
Look at the budgets that the DEA has. For what?
Well, it's a difficult job to have anyway. To to help people. Because again, a lot of people are doing it because they want to stay out of jail. A lot of people are doing it because their parents or
Forced.
somebody else want them to do it, or they
Right.
think this will get me out of trouble. Or
Yeah,
my
you knew
girlfriend
Edgar. I
will.
mean, we tried so many times, and it just
Over and over again.
yeah.
God, I miss that guy.
Me too.
I really do.
Jerry, what's your story, your experience?
Oh, my lawyer told me not to tell that on TV.
Yeah, of course, of course. This is a road that you are somewhat familiar with.
Am I pixelated?
You're not pixelated.
Is my voice
we have a clear,
changed?
and be careful, Donna's listening.
Oh, gosh.
So
Well, I was born a poor child in the middle of a pumpkin patch.
Jesus, and there's probably some truth.
No, I was a troubled kid, run away. I kept running away. Stayed in school for some reason. I don't know. I liked learning. Still do. But, you know, you get that self-perception of yourself where you're not good enough for anything and you feel bad, and then you go looking for acceptance somewhere, and my acceptance came with people that really didn't care about me, but because they didn't berate me or ground me or beat on me, I thought they were my friends. Those happen to be, you know, drug dealers and people in that lifestyle, and I think I just more gravitated toward that.
Man, that just brought it up. I remember Edgar brought a fucking dealer to my house to get his paycheck one day, and I walked right out there and I grabbed hold of that guy and tried yarding him out of his truck. And the guy's like, "What is he doing?" I was like, "Edgar, these people are not your fucking friends. The only reason that motherfucker's in the truck with you right now is because you got money and you guys are going to get drugs together." And the guy's like, "Does he know?" And Edgar looked at me and goes, "No, he's really going to beat you up. We should probably leave." I was like, "Don't ever bring them up here again, man." And it was always those people. And you know what? Guess who was not at his funeral? Not a one of them motherfuckers was
exactly.
at Edgar's funeral.
Yeah.
All of his supposed friends. Yeah, those people. But you know where those people are? A lot of times they're out there putting fucking buckets around. "Hey, can we raise some money for my friend that just died?" Yeah, that money's never going to them.
Listen, I've never been addicted to anything, so I don't know what it's like.
Well, you're an unlucky motherfucker.
I
You
don't know
drink
what
coffee every morning?
I do drink coffee, but I'm not addicted to it. I can go without it easily. But
That's what I
Nobody
used to
can.
say about drugs.
listen,
I smell an intervention coming from JD. Oh, you should have locked this door.
I will say that when I do go without it, I slip up on my words every now and then.
Yeah.
Is there an addiction there? I don't know.
Well,
But
that's just a.
I have a
just
really
give you
bad
one
addictive
example.
personality.
I'm goofing around.
My dad was an addict. My mom was an addict. So for me, like,
Yeah,
you put
yeah.
cocaine in front of me, I'm not leaving until it's gone. I don't care how big the pile
Well,
is.
listen.
So I don't do it.
listen. Yeah.
That much.
Listen, I don't condone drug
Too
use,
much fentanyl these days.
and that's nothing I really want to push on the air at all. We're trying to help this guy, and
I think he's stuck in a big rut right now, and he just doesn't know how to get himself out. And part of him doesn't want to. And I don't know who this girl is I see him with all the time.
yeah.
I don't know if she's got some sort of
Yeah.
hold on him. They were having
Should
an argument.
They
over here
have
in front of the
something
library
because he
yesterday.
was like, I have this person that depends on me, and that's a problem. You can't. Edgar used to use that as an excuse not to go to rehab. Too many people depend on
Oh
me.
yeah. Well,
Well,
lot
all
of
them
people
people are that dependent on you now can't depend on you because you're dead. So you have to take care of yourself first. That's just a cop out, 100% cop out. People depend on me.
All of this can be so much easier said than done. I know that much.
yeah.
And I've never walked in Brandon Carbo's shoes or other shoes.
I've been homeless. I've done drugs. I've never panhandled.
But it's like, you know, at what point is there a breaking point here for Brandon Carbo? and others.
It's up to him. And everybody's got their own little breaking points. You've always heard the saying, everybody's got a different, when they're bottom. Everybody's bottom is completely different. I don't know. He seems pretty healthy. He's getting money from people, which I think I heard you say earlier, just stop giving him money. I mean, be nice about it, because he didn't force me. He didn't, I was nice. He asked for gas one time. I says, "Oh, I've got some gas in the back of my car. Where's your vehicle?" He walked away. I didn't even have to shoo him.
Yeah.
Called his bluff. He wasn't going to get gas.
Yeah.
But he does get himself into situations like with the Berry City police officer, and then there was that scuffle.
But how do you give somebody like that a job that's that popular online?
Yeah, right.
Timmy could never put him back on the books because the first time you brought him onto the fucking job site, oh my God, what is that guy doing? He's doing the zombie dance. He just fell into the window over there at Nelson's and then got up and stumbled and
we'll grab him.
Kind of ran a little. Holy shit. Can you imagine living like that? I can't even.
I can't.
Man, I was homeless when I was 17, 16 years old. I could never imagine living that life at my age. I used to get so sad for Edgar. Man,
I did younger, but I could never imagine now.
Yeah, when I used to talk to him, I'm like, man, we're 50 years old. They can't. It's a super sad life to live.
And it's got to come from within, and if people just keep reaching out to him, whether he slaps your hand away or walks away or whatever, as long as people keep reaching out. And I know there's a lot of people on there saying he's a scumbag, he's not worth this, and he ought to be locked up, and we wish he would die. I mean, he's a human being. He's breathing. He's got a soul.
I bet most of them people
family.
saying that shit go to fucking St. Monica's every Sunday, too.
Listen, this I think we all agree here that there's plenty of resources to help.
Yeah. And if he is
Carbo.
in treatment court.
He is in treatment court.
If he is.
I disagree.
I'm not 100%.
He says he is.
Right, but if he is, I mean, that is a grueling process that they're going to give you urinalysis. They're going to make you check in.
Yeah,
and
they don't
push
fuck
you
around.
That's what you
backwards
need.
if you don't.
You
Right,
need
and
that. You need people to check in on
and
it.
they
You say,
need that.
Brandon, hey, what are you doing, man? Sometimes, and that used to be just a phone call in the morning to Edgar.
Yeah.
I wish they had this stuff when I was younger. Maybe I would have gotten, clean and sober before 30.
Yeah.
Only because,
Wow.
yeah, there's so many opportunities out there. People are running from them. And I think it's almost like white noise in the background because there's so much talk about it.
Sure.
And it's so prevalent out there in society that anybody can get help. So I can just do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh my God, this is my one and only chance. I have to take it. It's I can do it tomorrow. And a lot of people are living like
How's
that.
he? Who would?
I just think the resources are really hard to come by.
How's he going to get a job around here?
He needs to change his surroundings.
I mean, I understand. He says he's here for his mom, but what's he doing to help his mom?
He's putting that lady through hell.
He's out there asking for money for her
his
so he
mom,
can get her to the hospital.
I don't want to speak for his mom, but I mean, if I was his mom, I would say, please go leave. Get into a different community, start your life over.
I'm sure he doesn't.
I know
much
that
with
maybe
his mom.
that's easier said than done too. I get it. I don't know. I'm just thinking off the fly here.
Well, I mean, there's, like I said, enough programs. But if he found his way into the heart of the Good Samaritan Haven and they actually gave him, if he's struggling with drugs, there's places for that. They've got a residence for that. They can help you. It's not a treatment center, but they can basically, it's a waiting list, I think, but that's a goal, to get in somewhere so you can have your housing. That way you don't have to worry about where you're going to sleep at night or what you're going to eat in the morning because they'll feed you.
I think the biggest thing...
But wait, listen, after they get you that, then you can start volunteering places. That is going to be his first step. He's got to show people that he's changed, that he wants to change, that he's able to change.
Yeah.
And then once he does, then he's going to make contacts, and he can, help out down at the soup kitchen or at one of these
Right,
churches
something,
or whatnot.
something.
People, it'll change the perception of him. He'll be off the streets, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
And then once he does that, then dealing, if he's got the criminal stuff that he's got to deal with, taking care of that, he may get probation, he may have to go to jail, whatever he has to do there, work through those programs. It's a long process. It's not like you're going to wake up in the morning and say, boom, I'm clean and sober, and I'm going to get me a job, and I'm going to pay my taxes and buy a new car and get a house. It is a long, grueling, arduous process, and I've been through it, and it's crying and screaming and hating and loving and
Not for a week or
blubbering.
two either.
No, for years. I mean, sometimes I've seen things happen overnight. There have been miracles. Things happen overnight for people. That's great. That's the exception, not the norm. I have seen it happen, and it's so grateful when it does. But that is not what,
Rebecca has a comment here. The biggest correlation of people who make a permanent change is previous quit attempts. That's why you should always keep trying, even if you have failed many times. This could be the time.
Right.
Yes, and that's why,
So let's just think about it this way, because I know a lot of people, especially if they're over 40 years old, deal with this all the time. Now, those resources are great, but what comes with those resources is appointments, getting to those appointments, getting to certain places. You're addressing your drug problem. Now add in the factor that you don't have a vehicle. You don't have a way to get anywhere. You have to beg for a ride. And then on top of all of that, you're in the worst fucking depression of your life. How do you get yourself up? A lot of us deal with depressions that we don't want to get out of bed to deal with our normal life. Imagine your most depressed day, and now you have to get up and go to all of these appointments. You got to find a way to get there. So there's so much work, and it should not be that much work to fucking get the help that you need.
right.
I had somebody mentioning working fields here. Mickey's been on the air with me before. What an amazing
Yeah, it is.
organization. Do you know Mickey? Unbelievable.
I know the program.
Working fields.
And it is.
Unreal.
We
God.
need bigger changes with our mental health. We need those changes. Mental health is such an issue. We grew up in Vermont. Fuck, dude, they still do Incest Awareness Week in Hardwick. That's how, I don't know.
And one of the things, there's been so many failed attempts at bringing programs into this area that does not fit this demographic.
Right.
Chief Fakis, when he was in Montpelier, he tried to bring in Project Safe Catch, which was a program that if you want to quit, bring in your dope, hand it to them. They won't charge you. They'll take it, and they'll get you fast-tracked into the buprenorphine, Suboxone, or the methadone program.
And then everybody got upset.
Here's the problem. People are getting busted. They found heroin on them, and they go, oh, by the way, officer who just put handcuffs on me, I want the Project Safe Catch. And they're like, that's not how it works.
Right.
So no one, it works. If you have a population of 150,000 and 17 people come in, you can rave, I've saved 17 people. You get a population like Barrie, that's not 150,000. You're not going to get those numbers. 17 out of 150 is actually, it's a big number. It's like somebody I think I read also when I was at a stop sign about if they help one person, then they feel successful. The Lighthouse program.
Yeah.
We see so many people come in and out of there. We see some people come in time and time and time and time and time again. I don't care.
That kid
We'll
was about
bring
in
them.
fucking tears just talking to him like a regular human.
Who, him? Yeah, he's like you said, he's a human being. Sometimes punching him is the manly reaction, and I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it's like, just get the F away from me.
Yeah.
And I try not to say those things, but you can't help what you feel.
Yep.
But there, deep down, there is somebody there that deserves to be helped.
He's, you referred to him, Jerry, not long ago as a con artist. We've got so many comments this morning that
He is. He is a con artist. He's lying
that's
to
his
everybody.
hustle.
He's manipulating on camera this morning. just as
I
he
have a
does-
narcissistic father. Trust me, nobody's manipulating me whatsoever.
I'm surprised he didn't come in with a T-shirt that had an 800 number to donate money to him. I didn't see any like ticker down, ticker tape down the bom of the Aired One podcast. When I was at the stop sign, not driving, looking at my phone.
Thank you, boys, for coming in here.
Hey, thanks. I just came in because
wasn't
I heard you were going to get beat up, shot, and stabbed by this kid.
didn't-
Then I walk in and I was expecting to see this 300-pound monster, not the 95-pound fucking depressed little kid.
I really wanted to make it here before you got here because I
really wanted to light into this guy and tell him he was a piece of shit. That's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like, hey, how can the community protect themselves from you because you're aggressive, yada, yada, yada. And then it's a lot different when you're sitting next to the real humans.
So in a way, this would have been perfect because Carbo would have been in the middle, and you would have had him as the devil on one side, and me as the fluttering angel on the other.
Listen,
I just don't like people. I've never felt bad for people for sob stories. I have one of the biggest sob stories of my life. Like, you want to compare sob stories? Those sob stories should not.
Yeah, but there's a point where enough is enough, and it's time to do something about it.
Yeah, right.
100%.
And that's one of the things that's like I wanted to just take him not by the hand.
Yeah, right.
But I wanted to say, Brandon, where do you need to go, and then where can I take you after? Because I'd like to, there was a kid that was on the street for 2 years living in a car with his mom for 2 years. The car got taken away. What next? I had no idea that Capstone was able to do what they did. But I walked him through it. He has anxiety issues, and I walked him through the entire process.
That's great.
He got an apartment. He started doing some programs. He's slipped up maybe 15,000 times.
But
in
you're
the last
taking
5
time
years.
out of your life to help another human.
Right, and every time he sees
That's
me,
in
he
despair.
smiles, and he knows there's no bullshit, and he knows that there's at least somebody out there that's going to help him.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's still alive. He's still in that house. He's still messing up. God bless him. Love the kid to death.
Your soul,
But he's learning as
Your
he goes
soul
along.
feels so good when you help someone.
Yeah, there's help.
versus
Where's the
being
camera?
angry at somebody.
Well,
There is help out there. Just reach out to anybody.
my intentions this morning are good intentions to have him come in, share his story, whether it's a heap of shit or not. I mean, the facts are the facts. I know what the facts are.
So those brass knuckles are there for looks?
Seriously, guys.
No, your outreach in the community, JD, is.
I thought that was a
commendable.
great-
I'm so glad he came in. I'm so glad.
I'm glad
you offered.
he stood me up once. So
Aired out. We can't say this enough. Aired out. He came in and aired his story out.
whether it's truthful,
It's in the title of the podcast.
yeah,
Like him, love him, or hate him.
yeah.
You can't
He is a human
always just
being.
have the good people
Right.
on.
Let's bring him some help
Yeah.
so that he can stop being a pain in our ass. Bottom line.
Yeah.
Right.
You know-
Now he knows. He just saw 400 fucking people live watching him, and he knows how much the community hates him. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to keep on people like that. You can't, or just throw him away. Continue
Right.
shitting on him, kick him, and eventually he'll hurt somebody or he'll die.
And he's always
or-
got a job at Barslow Construction.
No, he does not.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, and thanks, Brandon, for coming in. I don't know if he'll ever come back.
He said he would. I trust him. I hope he comes back.
Uh,
And I hope he reaches out to people. I was really glad to actually see him going into going between those two buildings for help.
yep.
Thanks, guys.
I hope.
Thank you.